An article this morning in the Daily Beast makes a ludicrous claim. It says that Democrats actually wanted to spend the last year and a half talking about real issues, health care and the economy, but they couldn't somehow because cable news stopped them. Rachel Maddow told them not to, apparently. Cable instead forced them to talk about Russia. They didn't want to. Luckily, we kept copies of the tape, and here's what they actually said about Russia.
There is no question that Russia attacked us.
Were attacks, ladies and gentlemen, on our Constitution.
Attack on the integrity of our elections.
An attack on our democracy.
We are only at the beginning of understanding what the Russians did to affect our elections.
I think there's a broad recognition among our members that Russia is not our friend.
Why does it not worry Donald Trump that the Russians, according to the intelligence community, tried to and indeed did kind of infiltrate and undermine our democracy by what they did?
Richard Goodstein is a lawyer. He advised both of Hillary Clinton's presidential campaigns, and he joins us tonight for what's going to be a tough conversation for him, I would say, Richard, because
I don't think so.
It's not really plausible to make the case that, look, you can argue that Russia hacked our elections, as Democrats have argued for the last year. They're our main enemy in the world, as they've also argued. And, you know, maybe time will prove you right. I doubt it, but maybe. You can't argue, if you're a Democrat, that what you really wanted to talk about was the issues. You didn't really want to talk about Russia. You just happened to talk about it nonstop for a year. Nobody's going to believe that because it's a lie.
Well, again, it's the intelligence community, Tucker, not Democrats, not Republicans. The intelligence community is the group that said that the Russians try to undermine our democracy. So don't lay that off on me or any Democrat.
Hold on. There's no intelligence community. There are a number of federal agencies, some exclusively devoted to intel gathering, others partly, like the Coast Guard. There's no intelligence community. There's no consensus on anything.
There's a director of national intelligence.
More than 3 pieces. Yeah,
there's a director of national intelligence. There's a head of CIA. Every single person who's charged with overseeing intelligence for this country, when asked, and when their agency was asked, said that the Russians tried to interfere. Look, the fact of the matter is, the Russians approached the Trump campaign and said, we have stolen materials. Would you like them from the Hillary Clinton campaign?
Right.
Donald Trump Jr. said, love it. Putting aside what ultimately happened later.
I would say we've plowed this ground before. What I'm asking you is a political question. Clearly, this is not bearing fruit for the Democratic Party. Their lead is within the margin of error. This is a political matter. It's just not working. Okay, they're not going to retake Congress on the strength of the Russia story. Now they're telling us we never wanted to talk about Russia in the first place. And all I'm saying is that's a lie. Yeah. And don't lie to me when I've been watching TV for the past year and all you've talked about is Russia. Did Rachel Maddow make you do that? I mean, like, don't lie to me.
Look, the fact is, I think there's 2 tracks. I think the fact is the Democratic Party knows it's not going to win this election. They're not going to win the 2018 elections just talking about Mueller or Trump even. They've got to have an affirmative agenda about economic justice and social justice, okay? But the fact of the matter is Donald Trump, we used to say he was at historically low approval ratings. I checked today. Jimmy Carter actually edged him out. So he's now second most unpopular president this far into an administration.
Right. You're absolutely right. So why aren't the Democrats going to take Congress and put Pelosi back in the speaker's seat?
Every election, we just had that special election in Arizona. Trump won by 21. The Republican won by 5. Every single Republican who won the House last year by 16 points or under has to be looking over their shoulder and scared to death because this momentum is unabated.
No, but okay. Look, Democrats have a lot of energy. It's a midterm in the president's first term. Of course, they're going to gain seats. There have only been, I think, 2 elections in American history that didn't happen. So it's going to happen. But Democrats don't look like they are a lock to win back the House, given the president's relatively low popularity. And you're absolutely right. Half the country doesn't like him. Democrats should be way far ahead of where they are today. And the reason they're not farther ahead is because they're not running on anything. And to the extent they are, they're running on things like more abortion and more illegal aliens and things that are insane and scare people. And you know that.
Well, again, we'll see when 2018 midterms roll around. All we know is from every other single special election, the Democratic wave seems to be on the order of 10, 15%. And you can say what you want at this point. That will take out a lot of incumbent Republicans. Will it continue? That remains to be seen.
But that was going to happen no matter what. No, but hold on. Will you just, for the sake of honesty, will you concede The Democrats didn't spend the last year telling us that Russia hacked our election, whatever that means. It was a lie. But they didn't say that because Rachel Maddow made them or Morning Joe sent them a memo and they had to obey. They said it because they thought it would work, and it didn't.
They were horrified. They were horrified that the Republicans, that the Russians did this, and B, that the White House was indifferent or worse, was complicit. That's the thing that Democrats have been talking about.
They don't care about this country. If they cared about the country, they'd secure the borders and fight back against China. I mean, the countries that are actually controlling our policies get no pushback from the Democrats at all because they don't care.
We had a net outflow, frankly, from the U.S. to Mexico. In the last 4 or 5 years of the Obama administration, we had a net outflow. That's how much they care about the border. The people were leaving, not coming in.
Yeah. Richard Goodstein, thank you.
Sure.
Good to see you.
So, Jesse, do you think this was just some kind of hyperbole you do in a speech? He can't really mean that this is worse than terror or communism.
No, I mean, a lie didn't fly into a building and kill 3,000 people. But I am available, as we were talking about, to do commencements. If anybody's interested, I think I'd look good in the tassel. But
that was a nice outfit.
That was. I like the yellow.
He looked like a waiter at the medieval restaurants. You know, what are they called? Medieval Times?
Medieval Times?
Yeah.
Have you been there recently?
I eat there every night.
Atkins friendly. I love the line about how do you know when a politician is lying? His lips are moving. I think all politicians lie. I would rather have a politician lie, though, about... I would rather have a politician lie about sex or about a crowd size than about not being able to keep your health care or a terrorist attack. There's white lies and then there's whoppers, and that's fine. This was clearly a shot at Trump and the people in the press that don't hold him accountable. But I think the fake news puts out maybe the same amount of junk as President Trump does, if not more. I mean, I have the Fake News Media Awards right here, Juan, and I'm happy to recite them. That's fine. At the same time, I don't think Trump's a liar. I just think he's a boaster. He's from Queens, real estate tycoon. This is the biggest. It's the best. It's the most expensive. And a lot of people consider those opinions lies. They'll fact-check his opinion. He'll say, I'm the best-looking president there ever is. And then the Pinocchio people fact-check that.
Yeah, it's like a car salesman saying, like, a little old lady just drove this car to church on weekends, and everybody's winking. It's a sale. It's what salesmen do. All right, Juan, should Bloomberg apologize to America for what he just did?
Right now.
I don't know where you'd have to start with the apology.
Every single American, he has to start on one coast?
Trump.
Okay,
Trump should apologize. I mean, you know what's interesting is you said this is like so shocking. You should be surprised how many people in the intelligence community, I think back to Leon Panetta, I think of John Brennan, et cetera, right? People who say it is the biggest threat to us as a nation, this kind of divide, because it's just what the Russians want. We can't decide anything. Everything is a huge argument. Last week I wrote a comment. I said, you know, when you look at what went on in terms of the decision to pull the United States away from the Iran deal, the president, with his boastfulness, or however you want to describe it, I think it's persuasive to a lot of people because there's partisan support. They say, oh, the Iran deal has been violated. It was a weak deal. It was a terrible deal. And yet the fact is that the deal was never violated. The fact is that people say this was keeping Iran from having nukes. But now it's suddenly said, well, maybe it was a bad deal. Maybe it's just a partisan fight. Maybe he doesn't like Obama. Maybe he doesn't like John Kerry. And we lose sight of the truth. We can't even get anything done.
All right, so now Juan is deflected, Kimberly, to an entirely different topic. Let's stick to
totally
Bloomberg.
Different show, totally different
Bloomberg
segment.
is mad that he didn't run for president.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it is.
He's mad that he didn't run for president. He's mad that President Trump has honored his campaign promises and is checking off wins on the board. Anyone who loves this country should be happy that we're moving towards peace. Anyone should be happy that the economy is doing better. Anyone should be happy that there are more jobs here in America and that minorities are feeling better about what's happening in this country. There's so many accomplishments and things, and as it relates to national security and foreign policy, he has completely changed the dynamic. This is a new style of politics and engaging to create effective results. Why not? If you keep doing the same thing and you end up at the end result, why not try a different way or a different path to be able to achieve these ends? Also, President Trump is using social media and Twitter to be able to communicate, so there is transparency there versus someone regurgitating, going through it, and then putting something out. I don't think there's a downside to that because every person then can be the individual consumer and determine what you think of it versus someone telling you what to think about it.
I think there's a tremendous downside the constant line from the man is the president, the leader of our country, and people can't trust.
Okay,
Don't know what's true.
we're never going to solve this. Is he lying? Is he boasting?
line?
Dana, clean it up for us.
Well, I would say, I think that every commencement speech would be more successful if it made no news.
Yeah.
The speech is supposed to be about the students and the inspiration for them to go out into the world, to celebrate the fact that they're getting through college.
Right.
They're going to have a chance to go and make their mark on the world, and worrying about fake news is probably not the highest priority.
I want to do a commencement address for an online college. Wouldn't that be great? Just
Phoenix University.
Phoenix University would be amazing.
You're their top choice.
You know it.